Hello, and what is up, guys? My name is Yugioh from ScreenCasterz, doing a deck profile on GalacticGod's channel. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the mighty sage GalacticGod himself for allowing me this opportunity to upload content for his loyal subscribers. This is a Chaos Dragon deck profile, guys. If you're looking for a deck that can explode out of nowhere, this is the deck for you. If you're looking for a deck that can swarm more monsters than your opponent can handle, this is the deck for you. If you're looking for a deck that assembles the most powerful cards in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And puts them all on the field, this is definitely the deck profile for you. So without further ado, let's get started into the Chaos Dragon deck profile. Alright, first things first. Let's start off with the three biggest monsters in the deck. The boss monsters of the deck, if you will. Red MD, Dark Arm Dragon, and Sackluster Soldier, Envoy of the Sackening. Such a great top deck. This is basically the monsters the deck is aimed to bring out as soon and as fast as consistently and as much as possible. Red MD, you can bring back a dragon from your graveyard or your hand. Dark Arm Dragon, just banish darks from your grave, destroy cards on the field, as well as monsters. Blackluster Soldier, you know what he does. When he destroys a monster, he can attack again and can banish a card on the field. You want to get these guys out on the field as soon as possible when you have the OTK. Alright, onto the smaller dragon. 3 Light Pulsar Dragon. This card is just so good in the deck. You can send a light and a dark from your hand to the graveyard to bring them back from the graveyard, as well as the simple chaos requirement of banish a light and a dark from your graveyard to bring them out. Plus, if he dies by battle or card effect, you can bring back your Red MD or your Hot Red Dragon Archfiend. Really cool. And he's a light, level 6 light monster, so if you use Glow Up Bulb and Jet Synchron with him, you can make Michael. So that's always a plus, right? On to the baby dragons. 2 Black Baby Dragon, 2 White Baby Dragon, and Eclipse Wyvern. Gotta love the one Eclipse Wyvern, only one though. He banishes your Red MD and your Dark Arm Dragon. These guys are basically floaters if you use them as synchro material. There's a nice little plus to the ending if you can think of what the last monster in the extra deck is. It has a little thing to do with these guys. Basically, using a synchro material, you can add the opposite copy of them to your hand. So if you synchro White Baby Dragon, you get Black Baby Dragon. Really cool, really good. And they're level 4s and Light and Darks in the grave if they do get milled. Onto the Light Sword Engine. Rocking Triple Raiden. Double Lumina. Double Lila. And Double Lila. Alright, I was running more Light Swords. I thought this is overall the best ratio. I don't run Solar Recharge anymore, but you always want to open up with Raiden. You can just search out the Lumina or the Lila off of Charged Light Brigade. But Raiden, he's a level 4 tuner. He can mill 4 cards and just leave them on the field. Really cool. Lumina brings them back. You do the typical Michael play with Lumina and Raiden. And Lila pops your opponent's back row for you and mills 3 cards. Really good, really good. Now, in Chaos Dragons, we always had a source of light monsters, but we never really had a source of dark monsters. So, when Duelist Alliance came out, you can only guess what cards I put in here as the dark source. Without further ado, this is the Shaddolls of the deck. 3 Hedgehog, double Squamata, 1 Dragon, 1 Beast, and 1 Falco. Basically, you want to open up Hedgehog more than any of the Shaddol monsters. Solely because if you do have a bad hand, you can just set them and get your Shaddol Fusion to your hand and just further your board your next turn. Pretty cool. Falco, he's for your board presence. Beast, when he's sent to the graveyard, you can draw a card. And Dragon pops back row when he's milled. The reason you want to do double Squamata, because he does more for you when he's milled. When he's milled, you can send any of these guys to the graveyard and you get their effects off. So, Squamata isn't really just 1 dark engrave, he's a guaranteed 2 darks engrave. Unless you mill him off Charge Light Brigade, in which case he misses timing. Basically, you always want to open up with Hedgehog, and you always want to mill off your Squamata. So, these are the Shaddolls of the deck. They're a really good source of darks, and since the Light Swords are the standard source of lights, they do really well. They all do really well. On to the last 3 monsters of the deck. They are the level 1 tuners, and I love them so much. Double Jet Synchron. And the 1 Glow Up Bulb. Now, I really do love Jet Synchron. I always want to bump this guy to 3. Just so good. He has so many plays in deck. One cool thing you gotta remember about these guys is things in Earth, and Jet Synchron is a fire. The thing about Jet Synchron and Glow Up Bulb, they both work in the graveyard. So if you mill them, no sweat, you can use their effects anyway. Glow Bulb is a once per duel, that's why you only need one. When he's in graveyard, mill a card, which is really good for this deck, and bring him back. Jet Synchron, basically, when he's in graveyard, you can send a card from your hand to the graveyard and bring him back. He's banished afterward. So both of these are reoccurring level 1 tuners that work in grave. No real complaints, they're really good and they're all 1-for-1 targets. And you can also search your Jet Synchron off the tuning rerun. So that's it for the monsters. Onto the spells. We run a really hefty monster lineup, everything else is a little bit smaller. Double Shaddoll Fusion. And 2 charge of the Light Brigade. I cut Solar Recharge for the Shaddoll Fusion, and Shaddoll Fusion did what Solar Recharge did for me, but a lot more controlled. If you Shaddoll Fusion, especially if you fuse from deck, you can send Squamata and Wyvern and make your Construct. And Construct's going to send a Shaddoll for you, Squamata's going to send a Shaddoll for you, Wyvern's going to banish out your dad or your Red MD. So there's so many thinning capabilities, and you can literally set up a first turn Dark Arm with the Shaddoll Fusion. That's what Shaddoll's kind of did at the start of them when they got past the artifact stuff. But Shaddoll Fusion is really good. Even if you have to fuse from your hand, you still got Jet Synchron to make Grista and cool things like that. And Jet Synchron still furthers your plays in the graveyard, so it's not too bad. Charge Light Brigade, this card is so good, I wish it went to 3. Basically, you mill 3 cards, add a Light Sword from your deck to your hand. Basically, you want to search out your Lumina if you have a Raiden engrave. Sometimes I Foolish Burial off the Raiden, just so I can search the Lumina and do the typical Michael play. Onto the rest of the spells, we do 1 Tuning, 1 1-for-1, 1 Soul Charge, 1 Allure of Darkness, and 1 Foolish Burial. I know. Why don't you run Raigeki? It's one of the best cards of the format. The reason I don't run Raigeki is because a lot of the meta decks, when you use Raigeki against them, they can just they can rebound very well. Shaddolls, you Raigeki their field. Construct's gonna get the fusion from grave back to the hand. Shaddolls gonna float. Falco's gonna float for them. That stuff. Cleaves, their pendulum deck, all this stuff comes back anyway. All the clown stuff, they all come back. It's just a really kind of hectic how our format is right now. And the reason I chose Soul Charge over the Raigeki, because I kind of cut the Raigeki for the Soul Charge, is because Soul Charge gives you a chance to fight back. When your Raigeki opponent's board and end, okay, that's it, bring everything back out. But Soul Charge gives you a fighting chance. You can establish a fighting board, at least have something to protect you before they get to you, so that's pretty good. On to the rest of them. Tuning, you only have 2 targets, which is the Jet Synchron. That's why we only run 1, but it's basically kind of like a 3rd charge Light Brigade because it mills for you as well, so that's pretty good. 1-for-1's a little bit better in this deck because than Tuning, because you always have monsters in your hand, so discarding 1 for a free special summon of a Glow Bulb or a Jet Synchron is nothing to complain about. Soul Charge to come back, basically the greatest comeback card in our deck. Allure of Darkness, you run so many darks with the Shaddolls and so forth. Getting free draws is nothing to complain about. And Foolish Burial, you can send Raiden, you can send Wyvern, send Squamata, send Glow Bulb. Send any monster to your graveyard to further out your play. So that's it for the spells of the deck. The last 2 cards of the deck, Double Breakthrough Skill. This card is really good. I am thinking about Decrees, but with Dante, this card, if you mill this, it works in graves, so I have no complaints with it. But if you do going in the Cleefort matchup, I would side these out for Royal Decrees because this card kind of helps them. So that's it for the main deck. Onto the extra deck. Only do 2 XYZs, 1 Dante and 1 Levier. The reason I chose the rank 3s, you don't really go into rank 4s often. If you do, you'd rather just sync for them. So the baby dragons will get their effects off. But Levier and Dante, they're kind of hard to make because you have to go double Lumina. But in my playtesting, that happened a lot, to be honest. Levier and Dante, they both further your game state. And Levier lets you be more controlling with what you banish. Because if you know you can go into Levier, you're not just banishing random things because you can get them back with Levier. Dante mills 3 for you, becomes 25, and he's a 25 defender. What's there not to like? Onto the Shaddoll fusions of the deck. 1 Winda, 1 El Shaddoll Construct, and 1 Grista. Oh, why don't you play El Shekinaga? It's the best card in the deck. Shekinaga has much better stats, bro. It's a matter of preference. I love Grista a little bit better because it hurts pendulums a lot more. It works like, it doesn't specify 1 monster, like Blackhorn and so forth does. So it's a little bit better for me, but you could definitely take it out for Shekinaga if you feel the need for it. I just feel the need, if I have to fuse from deck, I'd rather send Jet Synchron than Glow Bulb, because we do have multiple Jet Synchrons and we have 1 Glow Bulb, so it's kind of, that's my theory on that. Construct is just a boss in this deck. It's kind of like a themed Chaos monster if you think about it, because you send a Light and Dark to bring it out. It just sets up your plays for like Pulsar and so forth. And Winda, if I'm going for a more slower game, Winda is just a boss for me. Basically, you only get one special summon each, but 2200 body that can't be destroyed by card effects is pretty damn good, and it floats for you. All these float for you by adding diffusion back to your hand. On to the last of the extra deck is the Synchros. Bonus points if you guess what the last monster is at the end, because it's not Leo, but it is a level 10. One Librarian, one Accel Synchron, one Jet Warrior, and one Armades for our level 5s. When you're syncing up in this deck, you usually go into level 7s and level 5s the most. So I kind of just stocked up on those. You synchro up a lot, so Librarian, you might as well get some draws while you're synchroing up. It's really not a bad thing at all. Accel Synchron, you can set up your plays. He's also a tuner. You can send Jet Synchron to the graveyard, increase the level, and lower him up to you. Jet Warrior, when he special summon, you get a free bounce. Cool thing, he's not just in here for the free bounce. There's another reason you'll see it at the end. And Armades, I choose him over Catastor, because when he attacks, your opponent can't activate anything. So I'd rather not just sit on a Catastor, might just go more aggro with the Armades. One level 6, one Yugioh. I might cut him, but a 2800 body that can steal your girl is nothing to complain about. 2 level 7s, Devil Michael. You could try going to Clearing, but in my testing it wasn't as good. Michael was overall better. He has higher stats, and he could banish a card on the field. On-the-spot banishing, I am a huge advocate of it. Banishing in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is always going to be a powerful thing, because very few decks can come back from a banished card. When you banish at the right time, of course. But he's level 7 Dragon that can be brought back with Red MD if you synchro with them. So a lot of cool things with him, so yeah. And 2 level 8s. One Stardust Dragon, one Hot Ray Dragon Archfiend. This card is pretty good. Most of the time when I'm going for the OTK, I noticed I'm a few 100 points short when I have like my Red MD and so forth. So a 3000 body is pretty good, and the board wipe is also really, really powerful. Stardust Dragon, I bring him out second when I already have my Construct to protect my entire board. So you can try Stardust Spark, but I prefer original Stardust. Now on to the last monster in the deck, in the extra deck. It's a level 10, but no, it's not Leo. Have you guessed it yet? No? Yes? Well, here it is. Stardust Warrior. Yes, this card is such a freaking beast. I love this guy. He does so much work for you. He's a vanities for you. Yeah, he's a vanities for you if you destroyed. You can bring out your Jet Warrior to bounce whatever killed him. There's a lot of cool things you could do with him. And he's super easy and consistent to make. Not a lot of people expect him, but it's really their downfall, because the 3000 body could do a lot for you. I know what you're thinking. Jaeger, how the hell do you bring this guy out in the deck? Well, I got a surprise for you guys. I'll show you how right now. So for this combo, all you really need is one of the baby dragons. It could be the light or the dark one. It does not matter. The ability to summon them and one of your level 1 tuners. So either Glow Bulb or Jet Synchron. For the purpose of this video, let's go into Jet Synchron. Well, Glow Bulb, sorry. So you banish a dark, special summon your Wyvern Burst, who isn't hard to make in this deck at all. So when you do that, you can normal summon your Glow Bulb and sync for 5. Adding your TG Hyper Librarian from your deck to your hand. Since a Wyvern Burst was sent to graveyard as synchro material, you could add the opposite copy from your deck to your hand. So you can banish that copy you just synchroed with to special summon your Black Baby Dragon, and use Glow Bulb's effect mill a card and bring him out. Sync for another 5 into your Accel Synchron. And since Black Baby Dragon was sent to graveyard as synchro material, you can add the Light Baby Dragon. Since you did do a synchro summon, Librarian's going to let you draw a card. So you get 2 free cards off that. So you have a level 5 Tuner Synchro Monster and a level 5 Synchro Monster. So if you know the deck, you know what you're going to do. You're going to sync for 5, go into your Stardust Warrior. So yeah, it's pretty consistent to make, and the best part about this combo is the same combo to bring out your Stardust Warrior is the same combo to bring out your Ultimaya token, your Crimson Dragon, yeah. So, hope you guys liked the video. Come to my channel, do a lot of discussions, deck profiles, all that other stuff. Once again, my name is Jaeger from ScreenCasterz. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and mosey on over to my channel if you feel the need. So yeah, thanks GalacticGod, and I'll see you guys later. See ya.